I haven't talked about my reading in a while. If you are new to my kitchen vlog channel, this is a place where I feel free to talk about just about anything that comes to mind, and I talk in my kitchen. That's why I call this my kitchen vlog. Now, I have been reading books a lot, mostly because of this stay-at-home directive during this pandemic. I'm still socially distancing, trying to avoid the coronavirus. This is now, I believe it's week 8 of Governor Newsom's directive here in California. The state is just starting to think about businesses that are going to be allowed to open if things stay safe. Okay, on nice days, and it has been really nice lately, I sit outside on my deck and read. It's in the shade because of the awning, and when a gentle breeze is blowing, I can't imagine a more pleasant place to be. I love it out there. So, I finished reading Front Row at the Trump Show by Jonathan Karl. Let's see, I'll move aside to show you the cover. Hopefully that doesn't violate any copyrights. As the cover says, Jonathan Karl is the chief White House correspondent for ABC News. Some of the book was amusing because of some of the crazy and inane things our president said or did. And what is even more amazing is the crazier things that Trump has done since the book was published, like the debacle about using disinfectant or a UV light inside the body to combat this coronavirus. Talk about a fiasco. The British national newspaper, The Guardian, said it might have been the tipping point to end the White House briefings about this virus, or at least curtail them for a while. I mean, seriously, if Trump wants to be taken seriously, well, you know what I mean. All right. I started reading another book. I'll move out of the way. Here's the cover. I'll slide over here. A Citizen's Guide to Beating Donald Trump by David Plouffe. David Plouffe was the campaign manager for President Barack Obama. I've been impressed with the book so far. I can recommend it. In fact, I like the introduction so much. I went back and I read it again. I read it twice. I like his writing style, his choice of words, and the importance and urgency he expresses in his message. It made me think about the term armchair activism. Now, I think there is more negativity than positivity connected with that term, armchair activism. I don't really think of myself as an armchair activist by recording these kitchen blogs. Maybe a little, but in a positive sense, certainly not in a negative sense. One point Plouffe makes in the introduction of his book is to encourage young people not to waste their vote on a meaningless symbolic gesture. That's important, and that's true for all voters. For example, it might feel good to write in the name Bernie Sanders on a ballot, but other than that warm, fuzzy feeling you might get inside, nothing is accomplished. If you don't like Trump, vote against him, but really vote against him by voting for the Democratic candidate. Writing Bernie Sanders' name on a ballot won't send the right message. In fact, it probably won't send any message at all. So for a vote for the Democratic candidate in opposition to Trump sends a clear message. So please don't waste that opportunity. I mean, I know people who they always vote libertarian, and I'm going to get into why it doesn't matter next. I need to make a point about most of the states here in the USA. It sounds like a jet leaving the airport. Plouffe says, and I'm quoting, 90% of the electorate votes here in the United States are not really competitive. They're in states that aren't competitive. They're not battleground states, right? 90%. I live in California. This is a true blue state. Dyed in the wool blue. In 2016, Hillary Clinton won the state with about 8,750,000 votes. She received about 62% of the votes. Trump won fewer than 4,500,000 votes in this state. He got about 32% of the votes. Doing some arithmetic, 4 million Clinton voters could have stayed home on November 8th in 2016, and she still would have won all the state's 55 electoral college votes. This is California. This is not a battleground state. New York will vote Democratic. Alabama will vote Republican. So will Utah. Plouffe says there are 40 plus non-competitive states. The race for the White House will be won, he says, in fewer than 10 states. Some authors say 10 to 15 states. It's possible that one or two red states could flip blue this year. However, it's too early to know. Joe Biden right now is the presumptive Democratic nominee. He's popular enough to concern Trump. In fact, I read some news lately of how upset he was with the idea that he might lose to Donald Trump. He was railing, I am not effing losing to Joe Biden. And he kept repeating it again and again and again. So Biden will clearly take this state, California. So what can I do here in California that will make a significant difference? I'm not going to do any good putting a sign on my front lawn saying, vote for Biden. Everybody in this state, I shouldn't say everybody, most people in the state are going to vote for Biden. Well, what Plouffe recommends is social media, places like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. It's a way of reaching out beyond the state's borders. So here I am on YouTube. And if you're one of those who, will vote Republican, what good would it do to convince me? Even if you could change my mind and get me to vote for Trump, probably 60 to 70% of the California electorate will vote for Biden. See, reach out to the voters in swing states, in the battleground states, right? Okay, I got to explain something about YouTube, because some of these videos upset a few people sometimes when I get political. For one thing, and you're not going to know about this unless you're a content creator on YouTube. So I'm telling it to you. I'm explaining it. I don't turn off comments on my YouTube channel. However, I do set the comments option to hold all comments for review. If you don't agree with my opinion, express yourself. I don't mind. However, don't be insulting or use vulgar language. My channel can be closed down if I violate YouTube's quote-unquote community guidelines. That's what they're called. Community guidelines. And so far, I have 0 strikes on my channels as far as those community guidelines. If you have strong feelings about a candidate, do what David Plouffe says to do. Get active on social media, especially if you live in a state that leans heavily blue or red. You might not be able to make much of a difference in your own home state, but through social media, you can reach out beyond your state. Connect on Facebook or Twitter or whatever platform you prefer. Tell the world how you feel, or at least tell the voters in battleground states. Start your own YouTube channel, right? You don't need an expensive setup to be a content creator on YouTube. I know people who use only their smartphone to make videos. One of them is my neighbor. He likes to do cooking videos. I don't think he's on YouTube yet, but he uses his smartphone to make his videos. So believe me, it's fun. I enjoy doing this, and there are people out there I know who enjoy these discussions. I know because I hear from them, and they don't always agree with what I think or say, but they like the fact that I'm talking about it. And if it gets somebody else talking about it to people in other states, those battleground states, something good is coming out of it. Okay. So that's enough for right now. I can say thanks for listening. As I continue reading my books, I'll try to come back occasionally and tell you a little bit more about what I learned in my reading. Campaign season is starting to warm up, so I'll be getting more political over time. And I won't hold back from expressing my opinions. I like to say having an opinion doesn't make someone an authority. It just makes them opinionated. And that's me too. I can be opinionated, but I'm not an authority on campaigns or voting. I will try to be fair and respectable in these videos, and hopefully you'll do the same. So be safe and be healthy.